Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, April 13, 2023. Jamaica's inflation rate is on the decline. Data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, shows that inflation, which peaked at 11.8% in April 2022, fell to 7.8% in February this year. Senior Deputy Governor at the Central Bank, Dr. Wayne Robinson, says this has resulted from the BOJ's monetary policy actions as well as lower imported commodity prices.
We actually responded very swiftly and very early and very decisively to the increased inflation that we've been seeing, which was actually spurred by rising inflation globally. Now, as a result of our policy actions, along with the fact that we have been seeing a lowering in the prices of some international commodities over the past 10 months or so, we have been seeing a general reduction in the rate of inflation.
Dr. Robinson was speaking at a JIS think tank last week. One of the measures taken by the Bank of Jamaica to manage inflation was raising the policy interest rate it pays on account balances of deposit-taking institutions. This is in addition to reducing the volume of Jamaican dollar liquidity in the banking system. There was also strong intervention to sell U.S. dollars in the foreign exchange market, which has kept the Jamaican dollar stable. Still, BOJ's Senior Deputy Governor says inflation of 7.8% remains too high, and the central bank will continue taking the necessary monetary policy actions to reach government's target range of 4 to 6% by the end of this year. Dr. Robinson says the BOJ is paying keen attention to risks that could negatively impact this projection. These include global oil prices, labor market conditions, and natural disasters. Government will only engage the services of security companies that adhere to the 2022 Supreme Court ruling to regard security guards as employees and not contract workers. Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Morgan, reiterated the position as he addressed this week's post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday. The ruling came into effect this month and allows security guards to access the full benefits of entitlements under the law. Minister Morgan says this is one of the most significant transformations in labor relations in Jamaica.
We're now able to move over 40,000 people to, for example, get an NHT benefit. They can now get proper pension and health care, all of those obligations to make them a part of the society, to make them a part of the economy.
He says the government is aware of the challenges involved in adhering to the new dispensation ushered in by the Supreme Court ruling and is committed to working with all parties to ensure security guards receive the benefits they should.
There will be challenges, as we see, with any major shift in labor relations. There will be teething pains, but the government is very cognizant of what is happening. We're very conscious of the concerns on both sides, and I assure you that the Cabinet and the Minister of Labour and Social Security are very focused on it and working to make sure that those are ironed out.
During the briefing, the minister outlined a number of security-related agreements recently approved by Cabinet. They include a $174 million contract with Ranger Protection and Security Company Limited, or Hawkeye. The company is being contracted by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation to provide security services for the municipality. King Alarm Services Limited is also being engaged to provide security for the University of Technology. The contract, valued at $210 million, is for 2 years. Also coming out of this week's post-cabinet briefing, Jamaicans are being strongly cautioned against illegal travel through the Central America route. The warning comes from Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith. Official data from the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, show that between 2018 and March 31, 2023, 143 Jamaicans were refused entry to Mexico and 2,167 to Panama. 81 Jamaicans were also deported from Panama during the same period. Figures from Belize are being verified by PICA. Minister Johnson-Smith says although the numbers are relatively small, they are of concern to the government.
The government of Jamaica, however, does continue to consult at varying different levels with our partners in Belize, Mexico, and Panama. We are very concerned that Jamaicans are taking decisions to travel in circumstances that are extremely risky, and in some cases taking children with them, exposing them to dangerous situations including kidnapping, trafficking, and even death.
She says that while most Jamaican travelers do so lawfully and for legitimate reasons, the illegal actions of a few affect the immigration experience of all who travel with the national passport.
We're increasing the security within the passport, embedded in the passport, to ensure that it cannot be replicated, that our border control procedures are stronger, our customs processes are stronger. All of these things are to seek greater facilitation of movement with a Jamaican passport. And actions and decisions like this, they really do fight against the efforts of the government, and they do affect the reputation of the passport and the immigration experience of our lawful travelers.
The Foreign Affairs Minister warns that with Panama being the route of entry to Mexico and Belize, heightened surveillance measures have been put in place in that country. Immigration officials in Panama are also trained to detect coached responses during their immigration interviews. In other news, more than 120,000 Jamaicans have received life-saving treatment and care under the government's Enhancing Healthcare Services Delivery Project at a cost of over $3 billion. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton outlined the achievement during a recent function to hand over medical equipment to the University Hospital of the West Indies. The public-private partnership arrangement was instituted in September 2019. Through it, patients in the public health sector have benefited from free diagnostic services such as CT scans, MRIs, ultrasounds, mammograms, and fluoroscopic studies through private providers.
We have saved hundreds and thousands of lives. The PPP arrangement remains useful and valuable and should be given some credit for helping a lot of Jamaicans.
The Enhancing Healthcare Services Delivery Project is part of the Health Ministry's strategy to reduce wait times at public healthcare facilities. And finally, the National Water Commission, NWC, is considering the use of treated wastewater to fight fires. Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the NWC, Delana Williams, says this is to ensure that water remains available to the nation's firefighting unit, particularly during periods of drought. He assures that in situations where large volumes of water are needed to extinguish fires, the NWC will move with urgency to facilitate the demand without compromising customers. The Jamaica Fire Brigade has access to the Mona Reservoir, one of the NWC's largest raw water storage facilities, to equip the helicopters for fighting fires in remote locations. The Commission has also collaborated with the brigade to repair and maintain fire hydrants across the island. Commissioner of the JFB, Stuart Beckford, recently informed JIS News that 1,056 fire hydrants across the island were repaired in 2022. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.